Hi, I'm Ellen from the Chili Dog, and today I'm going to show you how to reverse knit. This technique is also called mirror knitting or backwards knitting. Reverse knitting simply means that instead of working across our stitches from the right to the left, as we conventionally do, instead your stitches are worked across from the left to the right. This eliminates the need to turn your work at the end of every row. Although the technique is sometimes considered a novelty, there are times when reverse knitting can make your life easier, and I like to use it when I am doing entrelac. Reverse knitting can be done either English style, by controlling the working yarn with your right hand, or continental style, by controlling the working yarn in your left hand. So let's work across a row the traditional way from the right to the left to get our orientation. I started a swatch that's half knits and half purls so we can practice both. For both knits and purls, it's conventional to work around the leading leg of a stitch. That's the first leg that our working needle is going to encounter, and generally it's at the front of our knitting needle. So you would either knit through that leg or purl through that leading leg. Also, for both knits and purls, the yarn is conventionally wrapped counterclockwise around the working needle. So the tip of the needle is the center of the clock. The yarn goes around the needle counterclockwise before it's pulled through the loop. And this is true for both English knitters and continental knitters. So first I'm going to do a couple purl stitches English style. So I'm working through the leading leg, which happens to be at the front of our needle, and I'm wrapping the yarn counterclockwise. If you are a continental knitter, again, you're still purling around that leading leg, which happens to be at the front this time, and the yarn is going around the needle counterclockwise before you pull it through the loop. Leading leg and counterclockwise. For knits, English style, again, we're always working through that leading leg, which is the first one our needle encounters, and the yarn goes around the needle counterclockwise. Again, you're working around the leading leg and wrapping counterclockwise. So now let's try it continental style. And again, you're still working around that leading leg. It's the first leg that your needle tip encounters. And the yarn goes around the needle counterclockwise before you pull it through. So you're working around the leading leg, and the yarn is wrapped counterclockwise before it's pulled through. Now that we have our orientation, let's try reverse knitting. To reverse knit, or knit from the left to the right, now our left needle becomes our working needle, but we're still always going to work around the leading leg of each stitch, and we're still going to wrap our yarn counterclockwise. The difference is that now the leading leg, the first leg of a stitch that my left needle tip is going to encounter, happens to be at the back of our work instead of at the front of our work. So we'll either knit or purl around that leading leg. The difference is the leading leg now is at the back of our work. So let's give it a try. First, we'll do it English style. So I'm going to do knits first. So my yarn is at the back. I'm working around the leading leg, which happens to be at the back of my knitting. And I am still going to wrap my yarn around the needle, whoops, counterclockwise, and then pull it through. So again, here's the leading leg. I'm going to work around that leading leg at the back, wrap my yarn counterclockwise around the needle tip, and pull the stitch through. Now let's try it continental style, so controlling that yarn in our left hand. So again, the yarn is at the back for knits. The leading leg here, the first one I encounter, happens to be at the back of my needle, and the yarn is going to go around the needle counterclockwise and then pulled through. Leading leg, counterclockwise, and pull it through. So now we're at our purl stitches. So our yarn comes to the front for purls. Again, we're always working through the leading leg, the first leg that our knitting needle encounters, which happens this time to be at the back of our work. And then I'm going to wrap that yarn counterclockwise around the needle tip. Whoops. If you are a continental knitter controlling the yarn in your left hand, again, you're still working around the leading leg of the stitch. The yarn is going to go around the needle tip counterclockwise and then pull it through. And one thing you may notice after practicing this a little bit, that when you're reverse knitting, if you're an English knitter, it becomes a little bit more like picking, and for continental knitters, it becomes a little bit more like throwing. So the motion of it is a little bit different. And now you can see that we get the same results, knits and purls. This time we just went from left to right. I hope you enjoyed learning about reverse or mirror or backward or left to right knitting. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Until we stitch again, happy knitting!